on the great Ramanujan, one of the greatest mathematicians who's ever lived on earth. Right? He was competing against the greatest of mathematicians of all times at his time. We have not been able to explore those theorems even till now. He has been able to produce deep results in number theory, partitions, infinite series, and other things. H index, D index. So yeah, this measures. Hi everyone. Good evening. So this is a very important session on the great Ramanujan, one of the greatest mathematicians who's ever lived on earth in the recent times. Who was Ramanujan? What were his accomplishments, and why does it matter in today's context? Why do we need more of Ramanujans in today's world, today's era? And why has India not been able to produce a lot more of these kind of mathematician? Right. So this is what we're going to discuss. Let us get started. So he was one of the kind. And what made his accomplishments great was the fact that he had no formal coaching. Right? He was competing against the greatest of mathematicians of all times at his time with no formal coaching. He was competing with people who had done masters, who had done PhDs, who were in the best math college. They were being trained by the best math professors against someone who did everything on his own, without any formal coaching. So this is something which makes it even more remarkable. He was born in a very poor Tamil Nadu village, but he was able to create 3,000 math theorems on his own. A lot of these theorems are still being explored. A lot of these theorems, अभी बहुत सारे ऐसी theorems हैं जो उन्होंने लिखी हुई हैं, but again, we have not been able to explore those theorems even till now. He sent his work when he was small. He sent his work to Cambridge. He shocked the global math community at that point of time. One of the greatest mathematicians at that point of time, G.H. Hardy, he of course called him to England, to Cambridge, and he collaborated with Ramanujan. And despite little access to the textbooks, this pair, this jodi, G.S. Hardy and Ramanujan, became one of the most formidable mathematics pair in the modern history. He has been able to produce deep results in number theory, partitions, infinite series. In fact, one of the things that he did, partitions, I made a session on that also. You can see this session. Ramanujan primes, Ramanujan theta functions are something जो कि अभी modern mathematics का एक बहुत common हिस्सा बन चुके हैं. And of course, the greatest mathematician, one of the greatest mathematicians, Hardy, said the greatest natural genius I have ever seen. This was what Ramanujan was. He died pretty early because of illness. But again, there's a great movie made on Ramanujan. You should all watch that movie, The Man Who Knew Infinity. And of course, you'll definitely get inspired by that particular movie. Now, why is this important in today's context, particularly in India? ऐसा क्या है? ऐसा क्या है? So of course, a lot of things we get to learn, what students can learn is pure curiosity is much better than the structured curriculum. We should get beyond the textbooks, right? So this is what this channel is also standing for, right? So we should definitely explore much beyond what is given in the textbooks. In textbooks, of course, the content that you see is already rationalized, and you should definitely try to explore. In fact, the first series that I took on this particular channel 5 years back, it was called Beyond Textbooks, right? So you should definitely be exploring a lot of things. We, on our part, try our best to give you the best kind of content which is not there in the textbook, but you should know. And of course, you should also try to explore. Struggle is always a part of greatness. Of course, being from a very poor village, having no resources, having accomplished something which, and even centuries later, his name is going to be there. Right, centuries later, a lot of his theorems are definitely going to get explored more, and his name is definitely going to be there centuries later. So struggle is always a part of greatness. Explore, ask why, try things on your own. This is something which is very important, and every student should learn. Now, in contrast, what is happening? What is the present situation? And it is not very good. There are certain observations and facts which I want to show. So first is PISA. So this program, this is being conducted by an international body every 3 years. India last participated in PISA in 2009. Out of the 73 countries, India was ranked 72nd. Only Kazakhstan was one country which was behind India. ये क्या करता है? ये एग्जाम 15-year-old बच्चों का मेंटल एबिलिटी चेक करता है. 15-year-old बच्चों की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल चेक करता है. Why 15-year-old? Because ये बॉडी अल्टीमेटली इनके रिजल्ट्स ये डिटरमिन करती है कि जो 15 साल के बच्चे हैं वो 10 साल के बाद अल्टीमेटली उस कंट्री का वर्कफोर्स बनने वाले. सो दिस काइंड ऑफ रिजल्ट शोज कि 10 साल बाद कौन सी कंट्री ज्यादा ग्रो करने वाली है, बिकॉज जो ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर लेकर आएगा अपनी वर्कफोर्स के अंदर, दे विल बी एबल टू expand their economy in the much better way. So this was 29, and of course China was ranked 1, India was ranked 72nd, and iske baad India never participated in PISA to save this humiliation. So something is bad. Something in our education system is bad, because otherwise 72nd out of 73rd, ठीक है, तो यहां पर क्या क्या टेस्ट होता है? प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल्स टेस्ट होती है, नॉट द फॉर्मूलाज अगर करेंगे तो शायद इंडिया 1 आ जाएगा. यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल टेस्ट होती है, राइट? सो दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच वी डेफिनेटली हैव टू इंप्रूव. देयर आर अदर थिंग्स, एच इंडेक्स, डी इंडेक्स, ठीक है, तो ये दिस मेजर्स कि हमारे जो साइंटिस्ट हैं उनके पॉइंट्स, उनके रेटिंग्स क्या हैं. दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ रेटिंग फॉर द साइंटिस्ट, एंड अमंग द टॉप 50 मैथमेटिशियंस ओनली 1 इज ऑफ इंडियन ओरिजिन. Among the top 2332 mathematicians, just 17 are based in India, which is less than 1%. Imagine the land of Aryabhatta, land of Ramanujan, and this is the current state. Only 2 Indian origin winners have won field medals. Field medals are equivalent to Nobel Prize of Mathematics, Akshay Venkatesh and Manjul Bhargav, but they both had shifted outside India. In fact, their families had shifted in outside India, and they are second generations Indians. ठीक है, सो अगेन मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री के अंदर किसी भी इंडियन को अभी मैथ्स में नोबेल प्राइज या फील्ड मेडल नहीं मिला है. वी आर स्टिल yet to achieve that. And of course, these reports, 90% of India's age 10 to 16 lakh math skills. This is UNESCO report, and these are, I mean, news stories every now and then. These kind of reports keep on coming. Now, this is of course a state which is not good. Given India's size, this is very, very, very dismaying. This is not looking good. But again, the point is, can we do something about it? And how can we improve this thing? How can we make sure that we become a land of problem solvers? How can we make sure that, we get a lot of Ramanujan kind of stories from India, a lot of Ramanujan kinds of brains from India, right? So, of course, one of the ways is to explore this STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. This is something that we have to put in our children from very start. We have to go beyond what is given in the textbooks. And out of these 4, mathematics is the least expensive. You don't need any labs. You don't need anything. You all need a copy and a pen to explore mathematics. And that is why all are important. All are very important. But again, mathematics is something which is very cheap and does not require a lot of resources. Now, what is happening? What is the blind spot? Where are we lacking? Okay, so of course, at school level, there are certain things which are not going well. One is India's education prefer well-rounded mediocrity to narrow brilliance. Okay, and this is the mindset of a lot of parents. We have been teaching Olympiad for the last 6 years now formally, and every now and then we keep on seeing reports or students messaging us, "Ki sir, our parents are not allowing us to get into Olympiads. They want us to be better in all the subjects, right? So they want us to be mediocre in all the subjects than excelling in one of the subjects, right? So this is something where China is far ahead. When the child is in 3rd grade, at that level, they tend to explore कि बच्चे को कहाँ पर डालना है, right? And of course, there is one path which goes to excellence, and of course, all the other things are mediocre at mediocre level. There's nothing called topper in China, and things are going that way in India as well. There are a lot of parents who are well informed, who know that problem solving is the thing which is going to help students in the future. And for example, this year AIR1, Rishit Garg, one of our students, he took a conscious call of not going towards JEE. He liked mathematics, he loved mathematics, and he took the conscious call कि मुझे math ही करना है and math के best college में जाना है. And of course, he was rank 1 this year in ISI. Lack of awareness about Olympiads. Even now, when I say Olympiads, a lot of the students would assume Olympiads to be SOF Olympiads. Thanks to this channel, thanks to this kind of audience that you are, of course, things are changing. Now, अभी बहुत सारे लोग SOF को Olympiad नहीं मानते हैं, and of course, they know that SOF does not have any meaning, or for that matter, other private Olympiads have no meaning. Ratta marna, rote memorization is the answer for exams and pattern matching, right? So again, what we are doing in schools, we tell the child that this is a way to solve this particular problem, and we give the same problem in the test, in the school exams, by changing some values. I'm sorry, this is not mathematics. ये मैथमेटिक्स नहीं है, ये तो ऑलरेडी बच्चे को समझ में आ गया. स्टूडेंट ऑलरेडी नोज द आंसर, स्टूडेंट ऑलरेडी नोज द प्रोसीजर टू डू दैट पर्टिकुलर प्रॉब्लम. Where is mathematics in this? Mathematics is logic. Mathematics is problem solving. The problem which he has not seen before, is he able to try that problem on his own? This is what mathematics is. Weak library and community culture. This is something that we lack a lot as compared to other countries. So there are a lot of amazing math circles, amazing communities, and good strong library culture. Abhi Finland ne, it made a huge library in one of the most prominent areas in Finland, and of course the response has been amazing. And of course, a lot of syllabi has been rationalized over the last 15 years. At career level, of course, lack of opportunities for the students who do well in mathematics. The things are changing right now. पिछले 2 सालों से चीजें change हुई हैं. For example, government has noticed this. Government noticed that the students who were doing really well in mathematics, or probably at INMO level, almost everyone would go out of India, right? And governments wants to stop that. अब stop करने के लिए, it has pushed a lot of IITs to directly take these students. IIT Bombay, IIT Kanpur, IIT Madras, IIT Gandhinagar are directly taking the students who are doing really well in mathematics at the INMO level. So top 60 students, they directly get into IITs without writing JEE. And this is definitely going to change a lot of things. And we have seen this happening. Last 2 सालों में, earlier 2 साल पहले, 10th के बाद student would definitely get into IITs. IIT preparation, IIT JEE preparation mode. Abhi things are changing. Things are changing in the sense that recently we have seen a lot of students, even after 10th, they are sticking to math Olympiad, saying कि सर इनमो तो हो ही गया, तो ultimately JEE तो मिल ही जाएगा, IIT तो मिल ही जाएगा, right? So let us focus on math for the next 2 years only. So this is definitely going to boost up a morale of a lot of students, and students who would stop mathematics, who would stop exploring mathematics and go towards JEE. This is going to definitely stop that. We've seen that happening. इस बार हमारे 12 students of the 60 have of course gotten into INMO. A lot of these students are in 9th and 10th as well, and इनमें से बहुत सारे बच्चे have opted not to go for JEE preparation. In fact, majority, apart from 2 students, rest of them have not opted to go for JEE preparation. And of course, JEE was the main bone of contention. Now, of course, the things are changing really fast. Incentives for PhD. अभी भी आज के टाइम पे जो PhD लोग कर रहे हैं, there is no motivation, right? So the salary, the remuneration that they get is quite less, and there is hardly any motivation. It is not celebrated. So I put up a LinkedIn post a few weeks back. Indian team, मैच टीम का जब सिलेक्शन हुआ था, उसी टाइम पे इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम फॉर इंग्लैंड टेस्ट मैच was announced. A lot of attention, lot of highlight was put on that particular event. कि इंडिया की टीम कौन सी है, ये क्यों नहीं है, वो कौन है, why is this player not there, why is that player? Not even a single mainstream media covered these 6 amazing students who are going to represent India. These 6 students are going to be the future of Indian society. They are going to be the tech innovators later down the line. Not one media house covered that. This is something that we need to change. We need to celebrate these things more. And of course, brain drain has been happening. The top students who do really well in mathematics, a lot of foreign universities offer them admissions with full scholarship, and they used to go abroad. This is also something which is definitely going to change now. बहुत सारे IITs, as I mentioned, ISI, CMI, they are offering now admissions to these students, and of course that is definitely going to stop are being drained. Now, how are schools adding to it? Students do fine algebra, do fine in algebra. Indian students do really well in algebra, but they struggle majorly in geometry and number theory, right? So, in fact, maths ke andar algebra is the only thing which is left. There is no number theory. Number theory is all gone. Geometry, जिस तरह का geometry दिया, geometry is meant to improve the imagination. Geometry is meant to improve the creativity. But the way geometry is given in the textbook and way it is taught, given फिर भी ठीक है, the way it is taught कि ये है, इसका आंसर ये है, इसका आंसर ये है, इसका आंसर ये है, that does anything but improves creativity, right? So that does not serve the entire purpose of what geometry is. So Indian students, particularly जो maths लेते हैं, they do really well in algebra manipulation because that is the only thing which is left. There is no number theory. Geometry, they don't do really well, and of course, combinatorics comes in grade 11. No number theory, Euclidean division lemma, LCM, HCF, divisibility rules, all these things are not there. ठीक है, मतलब बस introduction करा दी जाती है and खत्म. And these are the base. This is the heart of what number theory is. Without them, number theory you will not be able to understand. When I say LCM, HCF, I mean the properties which are not done normally in schools. There is no discussion on what pi is, what IE is. ठीक है, pi क्या होता है, कैसे measure करते हैं, how do we measure pi, how should we measure pi, how did the area of the circle come into picture. So all these things, the history we should be teaching, which of course we're not teaching, and poor pedagogy in teaching computational thinking is not there. Now, this is one experiment which we do in our classes. So these are the two puzzles which we give to all our students, grade 5th, grade 6th, grade 7th. And you will not believe that 5th, 6th graders, that is our level 4, level 5 students, do really better in these puzzles than level 6, level 7 students, right? Because level 6, level 7, when the students are in grade 8, 9, 10th, unko ratta marne ki aadat pad jati hai because of the school things. But these students, 5th graders, they are fresh. They want to explore things. And dude, I mean, the percentage of 5th graders giving the right answer is way higher than the percentage of students who are in 8, 9, 10th giving the answer to the same problems. So one problem which I ask is, Raj gives 4 rupees to Varun. Varun then gives 7 rupees back to Raj. At the end, they realize they both have the same amount. What is the minimum sum of money that they have? Again, simple problem. Again, if you want to explore, this is a simple problem based on linear equations. But again, 5th graders को linear equation नहीं पता. They just explore things. कि मेरे पास इतने हैं, उसके बाद इतने, अगर ये हो गया, ये हो गया, ये हो गया, and they tend to find the answer. 8th, 9th, and 10th graders, they are not able to do this question. Majority of them. And the second problem is this problem we have been asking for the last 5 years. This year in new NCRTs, grade 7th or 6th, I think they've put this question now. The same question is now included in NCRT of grade 7th or 8th, new NCRTs. Cross out 10 digits from the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So 20 digit number. You need to cross out 10 digits so that the remaining 10 digits, when read from left to right, is as large as possible. So this is something which does not have any mathematics. No math concept, only and only logic. Again, this is something again which a lot of grade 8, grade 9, grade students struggle in. No marks for creativity. And this is just a simple example. This was one example which was told to one of my students, sir. This was a question which came in the exam, and I mentally did this, and my marks were cut. Why? Because I did not write the steps. Right? So some focus should not be on the steps, because ultimately, if I keep on writing steps, that is going to make students slow. It should be independent. Again, I get that point कि अगर हम सीधा से करते हैं, a lot of students are going to make a lot of mistakes. So it should definitely be on case-to-case basis. If the child is fast, then this should be allowed. If the child is slow, in that case, of course, you should be cutting marks. But again, the policy cannot be same for every child. This is something which is hampering our process. The great minds are getting hampered because of these things. This definitely has to change. The good part is now a lot of good professors, IIT Kharagpur professors, IIT professors are coming up and opening up about the changes that should happen. So this is, of course, one of the great professors from IIT Kharagpur, and of course, he has his own YouTube channel, and he talks about the importance of problem-solving skills in life and how should you be, studying for JEE or in general how should you be studying in general, right? So I'll not be playing this video. You can always explore this video. I'll put this link in the description box. Now, what works differently in West? In the Western countries, how is their education policy more or better than us? Now, one of the most important things is the school level. Libraries have more puzzles to build special skills. Right, so library, there are a lot of good problem-solving skills. A lot of stress is put on, I would say, puzzles, thinking books, Sudokus, all these things. There are a lot of amazing math clubs, math communities, which are very strong, which we need to build in India. Building blocks, practical learning are a major part of their childhood. Giving them freedom to explore their creative ideas using origami. Right, so all these things, they are a lot, they're doing a lot better. And of course, a lot of stress is put on improving IQ and logic skills. कि लॉजिक किस तरीके से बिल्ड करना है, सोचना कैसे सिखाना है, राइट? सो दिस इज समथिंग दैट वी ऑलवेज से ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर चैनल कि हम बच्चों को सोचना सिखाते हैं, राइट? सो दिस इज समथिंग दैट द स्कूल्स डू ऑन देयर ओन एट द बेस लेवल. Of course, that is also supported by the career at the career level. For example, the largest employer of mathematicians in US is the National Security Agency, their army, NSA. The US has set up new Army Futures Command, AFC, in 2018, and which about 20,000 personnel to Army, but regularly deployed with Army units around the world to solve their problems on the spot. Right, so this is getting supported, and of course in India also this is happening at ISRO level, Army level. A lot of mathematicians are getting inducted into the Army, into the these organizations like BARC, DRDO, ISRO. But again, a lot more needs to be done. Definitely, we need to glamorize this. Now, what is the solution? Now, of course, we have this advantage. There are two advantages. One is the population. For some, it may be disadvantage, but again, I'd see this as an opportunity. India's population, India's young population. We cannot compare ourselves with China now. Okay, there was a time 22 decades back जब India China बोलते थे कि same level पे थे. अभी China is far ahead. China is far ahead because of the things it has done. It has put a lot of focus on mathematics. Because of that, there are a lot of problem solvers. Because of that, they are building a lot of technology on their own. They're not importing it from US. DeepSeek, all these AI engines, they're better than what US is building. And in 15 years' time, it is going to be far ahead of anyone, not only US, but anyone else in the world. Right? So this was a pure thought policy. Right? They focused a lot on mathematics. This has a huge army of mathematicians who are exploring things, who are doing a lot of innovations, research, and of course, because of this, innovation-wise, research-wise, it is far ahead. India को भी यही करना है, and ये कर रहा है. सरकार पीछे से कर रही है. ठीक है, because India has also started to realize, the leadership has also started to realize कि जब तक हम problem solving and problem solvers नहीं बढ़ाएंगे, तब India आगे नहीं रह सकता. India cannot always import a technology from the West or from China. We have to make our own weapons. We have to make our own technology. We have to make our own systems, stronger systems. That can only happen if we have mathematics army, problem solvers in India. And that is the sole reason that Indian government, ठीक है, कुछ छुपा रही है. क्या छुपा रही है? PISA का रिजल्ट छुपा रही है. It basically knows that we are doing something wrong, and in the hindsight, it is also taking steps. One of the steps, of course, being giving direct admissions to these amazing students in IITs. ठीक है, without writing JEE, the students who do really well in mathematics, they're getting direct admissions, and they're being stopped from going abroad. ठीक है, उनको बाहर रोकने की कोशिश, बाहर जाने की कोशिश की जा रही है कि रुक जाए. So we must develop human capital whose foundation lies in mathematics. We should be making a lot of efforts to improve problem solvings from early age. We should introduce Olympiads early. When I say Olympiads, I do not mean exams, guys. When I say Olympiads, I mean improving problem solving skills. So Olympiads are not just exam. When you prepare for these kind of things, this kind of mathematics, you improve the way you think. तुम्हें सोचना आता है, and that is something which is more important. That is something which also helps you not only in Olympiads but other competitive exams or in general life. Teaching methods, one of the methods which I follow is no proof, no don't use. If you do not know how to prove that some of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees, you cannot use that. Everything has to stem from the basics. College opportunities for students who do really well in mathematics. Of course, this is something which has started happening. पिछले साल IIT कानपुर ने शुरू किया था. When Kanpur takes lead, all other colleges follow. So in more time, of course, I will be able to see a lot of more colleges who are going to do this, and recognition from the industry. Of course, we need a lot of people, a lot of institutions from the industry to come up, and they should glamorize, mathematicians. And of course, they are being glamorized. For example, one of the best colleges of India, Indian Statistical Institute. We all know the kind of placements which is happening. It is surpassing IITs every year, right? And of course, the students who pass out from ISI, they are अभी बहुत सारे ऐसे नाम हैं जो फेमस हो रहे हैं, and 5 सालों में they are going to be really famous because of the work they are doing, right? So of course this is something that we need to do. Now of course there also has to be the shift in the mindset. I have a child who is 5-6 years old, and उसके क्लास के अंदर एक show and tell का प्रोग्राम होता है, so the students basically have to prepare on something, and a lot of times the students become scientists, doctors, engineers. There's nothing about mathematician. For that matter, in schools, you have to write essays on if I become the prime minister, if I become, let's say, the doctor, if I become a movie star. The things are definitely going to change if we make students write essays on if I become the mathematician. I'm waiting for that particular day. जब वो होगा, things I would assume that have started turning, and they are definitely going to turn. This is something which I'm very confident about, and ये conviction है. And जब जिस तरीके से तुम लोगों का साथ रहा, and जहाँ पर जो हमें follow करते हैं, they are really, the students, the parents, the people who follow this us on this particular channel are very passionate about mathematics. And of course, they are the ones who are definitely going to change. You are the ones who are definitely going to change the things in India and make India a country of problem solvers. Take care. God bless you. We need more Ramanujans, and that is definitely something that is definitely going to happen in the near future. God bless.